What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today I'll be covering an updated guide on the Awoken Talisman Quest for the Wishender exotic bow. This is an updated guide as of the release of Season of the Haunted and the Witch Queen DLC, which made some adjustments to how this quest is completed. So we'll be addressing many of the common issues that some of you might be continuing to have on starting and completing this quest. So without further ado, let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the video and find it helpful, then please be sure to help support the channel below by smashing that like button along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated. Now, first things first, in order to access the Shattered Throne dungeon and obtain the Wishender bow, you will have to have access to the Forsaken DLC. If you are a newer Guardian who was not around when the Forsaken DLC was available, this means you will need to buy the Forsaken pack, available through in-game purchase or through your device's Play Store. The cost should be between $10 and $20, as prices could change based on where you live and when you're watching the video. Next, picking up the quest. The Wishender quest is titled Awoken Talisman. Getting the quest will be different for many of you. If you are a brand new Guardian and just purchased the Forsaken pack, then the Awoken Talisman quest should be available in your current quest log. If it is not, then you will want to swing by the quest kiosk. This is located in the tower. Under the Legacy and Exotic tab, you'll find the exotic quest called Awoken Talisman. But this might not be the case for everyone. For some return Guardians, and even some newer Guardians, or Guardians who've already completed this quest on another character, the quest could be missing from both your current quest log and the kiosk. If this happens to you, you'll have to enter the Shattered Throne dungeon first and defeat that first boss, Vorgith. After defeating the boss titled Vorgith, you will be able to head to the hallway that just opened up, where you will see a large statue with 3 bowls in front. Commune with the statue, and this is where you will receive the Awoken Talisman quest. Whether you're picking up the quest from the statue or the tower, you need to make sure that you have available quest space, so check your quest tab first and make sure that you have room. Now that you have the quest, you're going to need to complete 3 hidden objectives within the Shattered Throne dungeon. Previously, these objectives required tokens. Whether you have those tokens or not, it makes no difference, as they are no longer required as part of the quest. Since the Tangled Shore was removed from active gameplay, it's no longer a required process. With that being said, you no longer have to complete the standalone mission either. You will, however, have to complete 3 different objectives within the Shattered Throne dungeon. Now, these objectives get increasingly more difficult as you progress. They do not all have to be completed in the same run though. So if you have any mishaps on, say, the second or the third objectives, you can simply reload the dungeon, skip past the previous objectives that you've already completed, and just complete the ones that are remaining. The first objective will take place in the Erebus, the opening area of the dungeon. Before completing the normal objectives of this encounter to enter into the dungeon, you will need to complete the objectives for the quest. Otherwise, the taken bosses won't spawn in. So, once you clear the first group of ads that shows you the first area that you'll need to go to unlock the doorway, you will instead head to the left. You'll need to wall climb and then head up to the terrace of the dragon symbol area. It is here that you'll find an orb that you will then need to transport to the rooftop directly across. Find the open-handed statue and slam in the orb. This will spawn in 2 large Minotaur bosses who can stomp you right off of the roof, so be careful. Defeat these 2 bosses and you should now see the flavor text at the bottom left announce that you are worthier. At this point, this objective has been locked into the quest, so if you have any mishaps at this point, you won't lose progress in the quest. simply continue on through the encounter as you normally would. The next objective is slightly more complex and will be found in the descent. Once reaching the ogre room with narrow beams to walk on, you'll need to collect and dunk another orb, but taken ogres will spawn in as you make your way through the room. You will need to take these ogres out first, otherwise it's certain death. One blast will knock you straight off, and a wipe here sends you straight back to the top of the descent. So take as much time as you need here. Once the ogres are down, head to the far end of this room where the first set of ogres spawned in. You will find the orb here, and you will need to transport it about midway down the hall. On the right side, you will see a group of statues, with one being open-handed. Slam the orb, and you'll be on your way. There's one more orb though that you're going to need to grab, but it's in the next room, so make sure that you don't fall off in the process of getting there. If you were to happen to fall off after dunking this first orb, you would then go right back to the top of the descent and would have to do it over again. It doesn't lock anything in by slamming this orb. Now, as soon as you enter into the next room, there's going to be a smaller room on the right. Now, this is where you're going to find the next orb. You'll need to take this orb and take it all the way to the end of the thrall hallway. It's here that you're going to dunk it into another open-handed statue. This one can be a little tricky though. If you lose the orb here or die, you won't be able to dunk the orb or progress. So that means that you're going to end up starting right back at the top of the descent. So I find it best to bunny hop through this section, as you don't want to get ganged up on and cornered by these thrall while holding down the orb. And you definitely don't want to have to go through back all of that process of killing the ogres, getting the other orb, dunking it, and then going and doing this one again. So avoid all of the thrall as you go into this hallway, bunny hop through, get to the end, and slam the orb. Now once you've gotten to the drop and made it to the bottom, you'll find the statue is on the right. Now once you slam it, there's going to be some more thrall that rush you. Watch out, because you still don't want to die here. You're not locked into anything. If you die here, it's all going to have to be redone. Now, one thing that you will see though is a set of doors that opens directly across from the room that you're in. Instead of progressing through to the rest of the encounter, head into this new opened room. Now, this room opening is a result of you slamming both orbs, meaning this door only opens after the orbs are slammed. Now I say this because if you happen to wipe during this next encounter, you're going to go back to where you slammed that last orb, but the door is going to be closed, unable to be opened again. Meaning at that point you would have to return to orbit, reset your progress to the dungeon, and start it all over again. You wouldn't have to do the first objective, but you would have to get to this point and do the 2 orb slamming once more just to get the doors open. So really watch your life here. Now once you get into this room, cross through the center. That's going to activate the encounter. You will have waves of smaller adds onslaught you at first. They're going to keep onslaughting you until you've killed enough of them. At that point, a large boss spawns in the middle of the room. This boss tends to be a little glitchy. He can randomly teleport to different and weird areas of this room, so just play it safe while you're in here. Once you've defeated the boss, you're going to get another flavor text stating that you are worthier. Objective has been locked in and completed. No matter what happens at this point, you don't have to redo this objective or the previous objective. You only got to finish the 3rd token, aka objective, since there's no tokens. On to the 3rd and final objective. This one takes place in the Vorgoth encounter and will need to be done at the same time as the boss fight. So this makes things pretty intense and very overwhelming. You'll need to complete the tasks of this encounter as normal. Work in a circular rotation around the room to locate the wizards and destroy them. Pick up their buffs, and then head to the podium to dunk once you've got 4. pretty easy peasy, as long as you can avoid death from all the ads. This initiates a normal damage phase, but instead, you're going to want to ignore it. Avoid Vorgith's volley of energy blasts and head to the front middle of the room. When the podium dunk was activated, a new invisible Minotaur was spawned and will now be hanging around the pillar area. Locate and destroy him quickly, and a new orb will appear between the pillars, here at the front of the room. Grab the orb, head to the front left of the room, look for the statues lining the wall, and slam the orb into the open-handed statue. This is where things get chaotic. At this point, all of the wizards will be spawning back in, and the Vorgith damage phase has expired. New waves of ads and a new ogre boss spawns in, called Zavoth. Your main focus here should be Zavoth, the new boss that just spawned in. Defeating him locks the final objective into place for the quest. So once defeating Zavoth, you're still going to need to defeat Vorgith, but as long as you have defeated Zavoth, you won't have to fear the potential of a wipe. Hell, even if you were to leave to the tower at this point, you would have all 3 objectives already completed for the quest, but you still have to defeat Vorgith first, before being able to interact with the statue. So whether you're doing it right then and there, or if you have to come back or collect some teammates to get the job done, once you've defeated Vorgith, head to the hallway and interact with the statue. Make sure that you have space open for the Wishender in your kinetic weapon slots. Otherwise, make sure that your postmaster is not full. After a lengthy monologue, the statue will reward you with the Wishender exotic bow, a fine trophy indeed, and a requirement to shoot down all of the taken eggs that are scattered across the Dreaming City. By any means though, you have now accomplished a very difficult feat and challenge, so you should be very proud of yourself and happy at the fact that you now have the Wishender exotic bow. For those curious as to whether the Wishender has a catalyst, at the time of this video it does not, nor does it have one listed in the API. But if and when that does release, you can be sure to find out how to acquire it here on the channel. In the meantime, that's going to wrap things up for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed and found it helpful. If so, then please be sure to help support the channel below by hitting that like button along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated. If you've got any further questions or any tips to help everybody out on getting the Wishender, be sure to put those in the comments below. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you some happy hunting.